Language, thou art too narrow and too weak to ease us now. Great sorrow cannot speak. John Donne wrote those words centuries ago, but we know the truth of them today. Today is a day of profound sorrow, sorrow so deep that it might as well just render us speechless. Just last Sunday, 6 days ago, we offered ourselves in prayer to walk the way of the cross. And this is where it has brought us, to a quarry hill just outside the city walls of Jerusalem. The gospel is spare. John tells us there they crucified him and with him 2 others. It was that simple. It was that simple. An event like this was pretty much a routine occurrence in the Roman world of Jesus' time. So there they crucified him, and with him 2 others. What are we to make of this day? What can be said about this one particular crucifixion among so many? How was Jesus' death at the hands of Romans not a failure? Not a failure at all, I would argue, but instead a magnificent defeat of the powers that be. Well, in addition to deep sorrow, I believe there is also great beauty to be found today, even in the hideousness of what took place. From hymn 474. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. Did e'er such love and sorrow meet, or thorns compose so rich a crown? I believe we were created by God to be beautiful, in the image of God. I also believe God wants to be near us. God desires us more than we can imagine and yearns for us and wants to keep us close. And yet, you know, I know, we are separated from God much further away than God would ever intend. Because along with all of creation, we are limited and, in a sense, disfigured. Not beautiful yet. At least not yet in the fullness of God's image. We are not yet complete. We are not yet whole. We are most assuredly not as whole in the full sense of shalom as God would have, as God desires. But today we are reminded that for all time we do not have to be separated from God or from God's beauty. Because of the events of this day, we can enter the presence of God and live. God will not allow us to cling to any source of life other than himself. And to understand that as fully as possible means to walk the way of the cross, which brings us to today. Today, God says to each one of us, come with me to Golgotha, to the place of the skull. Bring along whatever it is you love the most. Bring along your life and come to the place of the skull, and I will show you how to give it up, how to offer it. Today is not about Jesus being put to death by an angry God who demanded bloody sacrifice. Not at all. Jesus did not die instead of us. Jesus died, went to the cross for us. So today is about love offered in the fullest, most complete way imaginable. In fact, it's, I'm sure, beyond our imaginations. Jesus' sacrificial love maps the path for us to God. A path which involves giving over to God nothing less than everything. but it is also a path we walk with promises. The promises of God that are before us and behind us. And so from Isaiah, that wonderful long song of the suffering servant, at the end, I hope you caught the promise. The righteous one, my servant, shall make many righteous. Those are the footsteps we walk in. And from Matthew, not today's gospel, but a promise we all know. Lo, I am with you always, even unto the close of the ages. I am with you always. Because of today, we are separated from God no more. No more. Because of today, we can believe that God is not indifferent to our world or to us. Because of today, we can believe that this most beautiful child of God took all the distortion and disfigurement of this sad and hurting world and took it all into his racked body and threw his body into the very heart of God. Because of today, we can dare to believe that this sacrifice, which is beyond our words, has the power to call us ever closer to God, that it will bring us to a place where words are no longer needed, and so leave us on the day of resurrection as beautiful as the children of God are intended to be. See, he has taken his heavy heart, slowly, laboriously, alone between heaven and earth in the awesome night, with passionate love, he has gathered his life. He has gathered the sin of the world, and in a cry, he has given all. Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. Christ has just died for us.